Thank you for letting me special feature read. My name is Mr. Lightwork. I am the Divine Masculine of the channel, here to provide Divine Masculine insight and perspective. Thank you for clicking on the video. Here to tell you two things. One, that there is a tool that is invaluable on MrLightwork.com. It's called the Road to Reunion series. It helps people get back into union. If that sounds like what you want to do, visit MrLightwork.com and make sure you pick up the Road to Reunion series so you can get back into union. Alright, shuffle up here, make sure the energy's through and true. Then we're going to get down to business. So just open yourself up, receive the message, and then take away what's going to help you move forward. Alrighty then. Let's dive into it. This is where the Divine Masculine is, and some advice on the bottom, and then the Divine Feminine, and some advice on the bottom. Things to look out for. Alright, let's dive into it. First things first with the Divine Masculine. Alright. So what this is saying to me, the very first thing, is that the Divine Masculine is looking for that light at the end of the tunnel. They're yearning for that happiness, that feeling of completion, that feeling like I've made it. I don't have to bend over backwards. I don't have to kill myself anymore in order to continue to strive for something. This is somebody that is not complacent in the negative sense, but content in the positive sense. And it's saying that they're searching for that. They're trying to figure out how they can manifest this and bring this into reality. This is giving me really good hopes that there's going to be a change soon in this person's overall demeanor and how they approach not only you as an individual, but their lives as a whole and themselves. This is giving me a feeling of optimism, because it's different from the typical dark cards that we see that represent the Divine Masculine energy. It's not saying that anything's going wrong right now. As a matter of fact, this is reinforcing the third truth, that y'all are going to be together. And this is the evidence of that showing right now in their energies. It's saying that they're looking for that finish line almost. It's kind of tough for me to describe, but it's a feeling of wholeness, a feeling of just overall satisfaction. All right, so we see that weighing on the Divine Masculine energy, and we're going to assume and hope to see that changes in the way that they communicate and in the way that they deal in the physical. All right, let's look at the Divine Feminine energy here. Oh, the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands. All right, so this is telling me right here, I'm getting another circle here. And what this is telling me is to be wary, avoid behaviors that are similar to what you've done in the past that resulted in less than desired outcomes. This is saying make sure that you're not repeating the same mistakes. Make sure that you're staying on point, that you're aware of not only where you are, but where you're going. And not only that, but how you're getting there. Each step has to be put up under a microscope to figure out if what we're doing is the best thing that we can be doing. And if it's not, replacing it with something that's going to benefit us more. There are certain things that benefit us, and then there are things that benefit us more, and then there are things that don't benefit us at all. And it's our job to discern which things are which, and then choose the best option for ourselves. So this is saying overall, make sure that you are moving in a new direction. You're doing new and creative things, that you are looking for different ways to satisfy and to continue joy, manifest joy in your life. This is saying don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. All right. Rely on that inner light in you, and then allow that to permeate what you do and the people that you touch, so that when you are in contact with people, you are a shining example of what divine energy is supposed to be like. All of this is to prepare you and make you ready for your union. All right, the ability to avoid being a stumbling block for them, and to avoid distracting them, and to avoid trying to do anything that's going to jeopardize the union. All right, union is for you. You will be in union. You got to just make sure that you're doing the right things. Okay, do different, new, creative, inventive things. Let's see what we got down here. All right, so this is weighing on the divine masculine's energy a lot more than we even anticipated and expected when I was talking about this 10 of Pentacles up here. It's to the point where it's almost overwhelming for the divine masculine to try to figure out how to attain this and how to maintain it. Okay, this has to do with their financials. This has to do with their love life. This has to do with a lot of different aspects of the divine masculine's life. It's weighing on them heavy. And what this means is that they're not going to be so up in your face. And if they are, they're again trying to use you as a distraction from the reality that they've got a lot of work to do to get here. But what this is showing me is that it's affecting them in a way that would bring shame and embarrassment to an individual that still needs to advance the knowledge of who they are in divine, that still needs to establish themselves. They're worried about, a lot of this has to do with their 3D world. So they're worried about their finances, their riches, their wealth. They're worried about being stable. They're worried about being able to grow themselves and be a status member. Not necessarily to like high ranking, but enough to gain respect for when they look at themselves. The divine masculine is in a state where they're going to be want to be by themselves until they figure out a plan of action in order to achieve this success that they want so bad. Okay, that's what the bottom line is. That even though it is on their mind, that until they figure out how to get there, these nights aren't going to stop. These headaches aren't going to stop for the divine masculine, and when they are in that state, they're going to want to be in a free space, so they're not judged, they're not being looked at, or they don't think that they're going to be. Comes back to being judged. It comes back to being judged. So they're going to figure this out. When they spend enough time here, they make the breakthrough here, as long as they don't give up on themselves. That's what you have to take away, because this is a 9 and this is a 10. So this comes before this. I'm just saying that when things seem dark, what was Batman say? It's darkest just before the dawn. Or somebody said that. I heard it from Batman. That's where I remember it from. It's darkest just before the dawn. So remember that whenever things are looking bleak. That obviously what we see looks bleak, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes at all times because divine is working. Perspective. And that's exactly the perspective that we were talking about, that healthy perspective. Seeing that the divine masculine going through this isn't a bad thing. But matter on the other hand, it's a good thing, because this type of frustration, this type of agony, of being unsatisfied with their current reality, is exactly what propels them. It's exactly what motivates them, activates them, inspires them to try to chart this course and make it a reality even more. So before, it wasn't even that big of a deal, but now it's on their mind to the point where they're going crazy trying to figure out how to achieve that. All right, and I want you to know that at the end of the day, this includes you as a divine feminine. This is y'all. The union is part of this complete feeling, the complete package up here. And what needs to be remembered is that when this is in the works, even though you might not be able to see it, know that divine is working. That divine perspective is going to help you out when you're in these moments and you're questioning yourself, you're questioning this person, you're questioning divine, you're questioning everything. Always go from the divine perspective. That's always going to calm you down. That's always going to recenter you, help you refocus. And I go over all this stuff in the Road to Reunion series at MrLightwork.com. So this is just, if this is resonating right now, and if you're getting value from the content, that's definitely the next step, is to head to MrLightwork.com. All right. So what the divine masculine has to be on the lookout for next is their cycle. Is every time they start doing well or they start to develop a plan, that all of a sudden they start that self-sabotage. They start doing things that they know they shouldn't be doing because it's, at least if they fail, they had a reason that they failed, as opposed to just not being good enough. They sabotage themselves. So, you know what? This is an interesting turn from what I was talking about earlier, as far as it's different from the typical dark cards that we see for the divine masculine. And as soon as I turn the next two dark, but I want you to know that a flower, grass can even grow through concrete. That's what we're witnessing right now, is this birth of a new chapter in this person's life. All right. This right here has always been what has undermined their ability to get here in union and to get to their place of satisfaction. This means that in order for them to rise above this, they're going to need divine in their lives, because they've been going about it themselves for ever, even now up until this point. They're getting better. Some of them have even introduced and spent some time with divine. It's going to take that connection. It's going to take them putting divine first in their lives in order to really, truly get this 10 of Pentacles. All right. But their snare, their worry, their thing that they're going to have to focus on the most is also, for the Eight of Wands over here, doing things different. If they realize that they're about to do something that they've done before that didn't end up well, their job is going to have to be to not do that thing. You know what I mean? And it's, like I said, it's the same thing that goes over here for the divine feminine. And here we're seeing the balance and the similarities between the twins. Y'all are dealing with the same things, just in different ways. They're dealing with themselves in a lot of ways. The way they got to deal with themselves is the way that you got to deal with them. All right, let's see what we got here. The Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords. What this says to me is that divine feminine, you should be a goal, a priority. You should not be an afterthought. You should be something and someone that this person, and really anybody that's got a good head on their shoulders, should be like going out of their way to help, assist, please, satisfy. This is saying that you should be around somebody that wants to be around you just as bad or more. That the way that you go after them is the way that they go after you, or more. This is saying that there needs to be a reciprocation of energy. The same way that you feel for them, They got a feel for you. And it's going to show in their actions. It's going to show in how much they contact. It's going to show in what they do when y'all are together. And I'm not just talking about the physical intimacy. I'm just not talking about the sex. I'm talking about just them there showing up and then being present in the moment. That is going to be a lot different when this person can sever this attachment that they have with the darkness, with the dark side, with the devil, with the adversary, the opponent, whatever you want to call it, the negative energy. That is going to come when they start to commit themselves. When they commit to this. So what this is washing down to is that they've been wishy-washy. And Divine is looking for a commitment to a better existence, a better life, a better reality, a better future. And part of that is going to show in the actions of contact and being there in the physical. But again, just not being there. And it's not being there just for the physical intimacy, but being there, being present. All right, let's see what we got here. Last card for the Divine Masculine. Oh, yes. Told you. I told you. Look, at the end of the day, the Divine Masculine is going to have to make some decisions. And a lot of these decisions are going to have to be leaving things behind. Going a new way. Finding a different path than the common road. The way is wide. What's it say? The way to destruction is wide, but the road to something else is narrow. The point is that they're going to have to stop doing what everybody else is doing. The same way that the Divine Feminine has to not do what every other Divine Feminine does, but go about this journey in a higher perspective way. Same thing for the Divine Masculine. For them, that means leaving similar situations and people that have always been hindrances, leaving them behind. That have always been hurdles in their life, mountains that needed to be moved to the side for progress. That's going to have to happen. And up until this point, they haven't thought about removing themselves. They've always blamed everything else. And instead of blaming everything else and moving away from that, they expected everything else to fix itself. But that's not how the world works. And the sooner they realize that, the better. But they're realizing it now. And so their world can start to change. When they start to leave this stuff behind, they start to make their way towards that union. And that's why this person in the red is moving towards this Divine Feminine deck over here. All right, last one for the Divine Feminine energy. Bang, Ace of Pentacles. This is saying that even though you have the way that you feel about what's going on right now, that really and truly, even in this moment, you're blessed. And it is up to you to look around in your world and figure out how you are blessed, and then give thanks to Divine for that blessing, for being blessed. And again, even though there's stuff going on with the Divine Masculine, you're still blessed. Even though you aren't in union yet, you're still blessed. You still have the breath of life in you. There's still opportunity in your life to be a beacon of joy, which is what you're supposed to be as a Divine Feminine. This is saying that you've been given a task to handle. You've been given a responsibility, and the Divine Masculine is not that responsibility. And it's your job to figure out what that responsibility is in your life and then handle it. Handle it appropriately with all the authority and power that you've been given to handle that certain situation. That there is called light work. If you want to dive deeper into that subject, visit MrLightwork.com and grab the Road to Reunion series. It helps get you out of separation and into union with your Divine Masculine. My readings are good. My separation course is great. I've got 7 different modules. They're 11 each. That's why I always suggest getting the full course. If you get value from the content, come to Trust Me as a Reader, get the full course. You'll save step 2222. Because if you get all 7 individually, they're all 1111. Doesn't matter which one you pick. There's 7 of them. That's why the 7 course, full course, is always the best choice. So then you could just take it one bite at a time as you see fit throughout your day at your convenience. All right. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your energy. Hope this reading was everything you wanted. More importantly, I hope it's everything you need. Visit MrLightwork.com. Grab the separation course. That's your next step. I'll see you later. Love.